Hey guys, Nicotin here, aka DVD Collector 96, and welcome to a new video on my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so we're bringing a new TV show to the channel. As you can see, there is an empty spot right here on my back, and we already talked about the Vampire Diaries on the channel. We already talked about Legacies, but it's time to talk about the second show on the TVD universe. Dead for now, but if you know something about this universe, is that nobody's dead forever. So, to talk about the second show on this universe, we need to go back to the CW years, to the show that started all, and it's based on books, of course, the Vampire Diaries. So, on the Vampire Diaries side, let me remove them and let me do the golden bars. Okay guys, so on the Vampire Diaries side, let's have it like this. We need to go to season 2 of the Vampire Diaries. So on season 2 of the Vampire Diaries, we start to hear the conversations about the original, the most feared vampire called Klaus. But before we get to meet Klaus as the big villain, we get to meet his brother Elijah. So these are the original vampires, meaning that they are the very first vampire who ever walked the earth. So season 2 finale let us meet Klaus as the big villain for season 3, but it also introduces that he has a bigger family, but they're no way to be found. Now, let's jump now to the Vampire Diaries season... I removed the one that is on. The Vampire Diaries season 3. So, on the Vampire Diaries season 3, now Klaus is the big villain, but we get to start to see more about the original family little by little. So, on episode 3, we get introduced to Rebekah Mikaelson. Later on the season, Elijah gets wake up and he revives the whole family. So we get to meet Esther as the original mother, we get to meet Cole, and we get to meet Finn. So there is a special episode in this season where there is like this big dance, and that's the very first time that we get to see the whole original vampire family as a whole, because the dad passed away on season 3. Now, I remember hearing and reading tweets and things like that was the point that Julie Plec went to the CW and was like, look how beautiful our original family looks. So she started to plan a new show to be born. So now we jump into the Vampire Diaries, and let me start to remove things. We jump into the Vampire Diaries season 4. What happened on season 4? So season 3 was based on the originals. They were a big important part of season 3, but on season 4 they take more of like a secondary role. Rebekah is still around, Klaus is still around, and Elijah is like coming and going. You can still see him from time to time, but no all the time. Now, when we got to the Vampire Diary, every single season had 22 episodes. This season 4 of the Vampire Diary has 23 episodes. The reason that is, it's because back on the days they used to put an episode on the middle of the season to try to test the waters and see if the show was going to be working. So comes episode 20, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check in a second. Comes episode 20 of the Vampire Diaries season 4. Let's see right here. Okay, so comes episode 20. Wow, my memories, and this happened so while ago. So comes episode 20, which was written by Julie Plec, directed by Chris Chrismer, and the original air date was April 25th, 2013. The episode title was The Originals. New Orleans becomes a hot bundle of supernatural warfare when Klaus returns and is reunited with his former protégé, the charismatic Marcel, which is the new character that we get to meet, played by Charles Michael Davis. What happens on the show? Well, Catherine sends a letter to Klaus letting him know that she's just tired of running from him, and there is a witch that's been asking for him on New Orleans. That sets our main villain from season 3 and one of our favorite villains from the TVD universe, Mr. Klaus himself, to New Orleans. Now, the episode that we get to see on season 4 of the Vampire Diaries is the episode through the eyes of Klaus. What happened? The episode was successful, the show was picked up as a series, and we got our first successful spin-off on the TVD universe called The Originals. Based, of course, on on The Originals family. Guys, I have to be honest. Let me see if they can stand like this. Well, I keep my hand up. Let me be honest. I loved, and it's my favorite season from the Vampire Diaries, season 3. I love the well-deserved story that The Originals had. They are just the mythology about the Vampire Diaries to be the Originals, what kills them, what not, what happens there, and they're of course 1,000-year-old, so they are more mature character. That was amazing, and we got an amazing show. Now, if you don't know, the actual pilot episodes for The Originals was kind of like the same episode that we saw, the episode 20 from the Vampire Diaries season 4, but now through Elijah's lens. So, I was able to visit the actual town where they recorded The Originals, and it's a beautiful town. First thing that I love about the DVD releases is that they are all a match, released by Warner Brothers, seasons 1 to season 5. They all has slipcovers, they all have every single episode from the seasons and special features. So that's the first thing that I love about the set. Now, from seasons 1 to season 4, the show was released on Blu-ray. The first 2 seasons were regular releases, and season 3 and 4 were made on demand by Warner Brothers. The 5th season has never seen a Blu-ray release. Now, there is also a complete box set that you can get with every single season on the inside with an outer box, but every single season that you will get it without the slips. So my first choice was, of course, I wasn't collecting Blu-rays at the time, but I would have hated to have only 4 seasons and not the complete show. So for now, I'm happy with my complete DVD collection for The Originals. The Originals was super different from the Vampire Diaries because it was a more darker, more mature show, and they were both able to get stories from both of the show. If I'm not mistaken, on season 1 we get a crossover because the Vampire Diaries was airing the complete 5th season, which aired the 100th episode, and they make a comeback to Mystic Fall. On season 2, I remember like whatever was happening on the Vampire Diaries was kind of mirroring on The Originals, but I don't remember any aspect super important from season 2 where both of the show collide. But then on season 3, on season 2, Nina Dobrev made her first appearance as the original doppelganger, Tatia, if I'm not mistaken was the name. And then on season 3, we do get a crossover with Stefan's Goes to New Orleans. Now, the first 3 seasons of the Originals were full seasons of 22 episodes each. And then season 4 and season 5 were only 13 episodes each. I kind of feel like both season 4 and season 5 are like kind of like the same story divided into 2 seasons, but every season like gets on their own, and it's amazing, beautiful done. And the show did so good that they repeated the same formula on season 5, and on season 5 episode 12 it's kind of like the backdoor. Not as strong as what they did with the Vampire Diaries. That episode is exclusive for the Originals, but we get the introduction to the future Legacies TV show, which so far on the franchise is the only show that has got cancelled, but it kind of have a good ending to it. So now, let's discuss a little bit about seasons by seasons, and as usual with these videos, this will be like the introduction video, but later on the channel you will have every single season review on physical media. So, we have The Originals, the complete first season. This came out, and I remember I got it. It was one of the first DVDs that I ever got. This came out with the Originals, I was going to say. This came out at the same time of the Vampire Diaries season 5. because again, season 4 of the Vampire Diaries had the introduction pilot, and this one, when it aired, it was airing with the 5th season of the Vampire Diaries. So we have the originals, the complete first season on DVD. So basically, on the first season, we get the feeling of New Orleans. There is a few scenes recorded on New Orleans, but most of the show is recorded on a town on Georgia called Conyers, if I'm not mistaken. It's only one street. Most of the show is recorded on set closed studios, warehouses, and things like that. So on the complete first season, we do get the whole original family. We get Rebekah, Klaus, and Elijah. What happened that Klaus was getting into New Orleans? Well, Hayley, the werewolf character that we get introduced to on the Vampire Diaries season 4, is pregnant with Klaus's daughter. Now, why this is impossible? Because Klaus is a vampire, but since Klaus is a hybrid, the first hybrid, he's half vampire, half werewolf, he was able to get Hayley pregnant. And that's what sets up the show. Now, we get to meet Mikael's character. Marcel characters, I'm sorry. We get to meet Marcel character. He kind of took charge, and he has a lot of flashback and a lot of story with the original, so you get to see how important he was into the family. He betrayed them for them to leave town, and they left him for dead, so they have like mixed feelings right there. He has a witch that he doesn't let other witch on the outside to do magic, and he has this witch on an attic, which is Davina, that let him know what's going on around town. Rebekah is still Rebekah, and he betrays Elijah right away on episode 1. But Elijah always have the same goal to the show, to keep the family together. Now, once the show got to... Of course, since the show is about them, we got way more participation from them, way more deeper stories, and the villains of these seasons were amazing because they let you get to know first all the stories behind the characters, and then they were more into like the villains. To the end of the season. This season, Claire Hood, the beautiful Rebekah Mikaelson, decided to go more into spend time with her family, so she kind of take a little lower role on future seasons. She left the show on episode 16, if I'm not mistaken, and then she comes back for the season finale, and on future seasons she will be in and out of the show. So the show did super good, and we were all grateful. It had an amazing first season, and it got renewed on the CW for the originals, the complete second season. So the second season is all about Esther coming back from the dead. And I have this prop right here, guys. If you are a fan of the Vampire Diaries of the originals, you know how important this weapon was. And I know I sweat every single time this was shown on screen, because this was the only weapon capable of killing an original vampire, but made immortal. Meaning, it kills an original vampire and still can be used because it had the melted ring of Rick's Alaric into the last white old stake. Why do I bring it up? This was custom made, and it's one of my favorite props that I have from this show. I just loved it, the level of details that this has. And it's destroyed on the season finale of the second season like it was nothing for a super powerful witch. So, second season of the original, we got Rebekah on the season premiere. She's now taking care of Hope because they make it believe the whole town that Hope has died for the confrontation that they have on the season 1 finale. So the season is kind of like the mother of the original is trying to make a deal with every single one of her children to basically let them be humans again and destroy her vampire bodies. Mikael is back in the game. We get to meet an original sibling that wasn't in the picture because of something that went on, and it's Freya. She takes a big role on future seasons, but this is the season that gets us to introduce to her. The season ran for 22 episodes, and it was the last season that I saw from beginning to end when I was still living at Cuba. I remember the season finale being amazing, and in this season also, Rebekah's character is still on the season but in a different actress body, and the actress did amazing. When she came back, they put her up to speed, and she took the character again like it was like she never left. So an amazing season. We cannot get more developed into the characters, but the originals has always had an issue. Nobody has been able to put them down. So the show continued to do really good, and I'm trying to remember. So 4, 5, 6. This season aired while the Vampire Diaries was airing season 6. So let me remember correctly. 4, 5, 6. Yes, season 6. So the show got renewed for the originals, the complete third season, and all the rest of the seasons that I'm about to show you, I got them as Black Friday deals for only $9.99, and they were early releases. I was always glad for Black Friday to do this deal around them and only get them for $9.99. That was always amazing. So what happens on the original season 3? Well, basically the season starts with all the brothers being like mad with each other, but there is this prophecy that comes around that they will all fall. One by friend, one by family, and one by fall. Now, what happened here? So we get introduced to a new set of characters which will become the villains of this season, and we get to know that when they were learning how to be vampires, we got a lot of flashbacks. They took on 3, the first ones that they convert into vampires, and they made them their father look, because it wasn't the look for them. They make them believe that they were the original vampires. So they're kind of trying to protect all the lines, because one of the things that we know on this show is that if one of the Vampire Diaries from the original family dies, the whole people that they have converted, the whole line will die with them. Now, one of the things of this season is that they get to destroy the link for Klaus, and I understood that that was going to be done eventually, because if Klaus will die, our favorite characters from the Vampire Diaries will have died. Damon, Stefan, Caroline, so on, even Elena. So I knew at some point in the storyline they were going to be doing that. What was the game changer for season 3, which still lasted 22 episodes? Well, season 3 is the very first season that they get defeated. By the end of the season, Marcel has taken over, Klaus is taken hostage, and every single original brother has a problem of their own. Cole and Elijah are dying because they have been beat by Marcel, which by the end of the season is now a super vampire that has never existed. Rebekah has a curse because she was injected with like a weapon and she gets crazy, and Freya has also venom in her system. So it's up to Hayley to kind of put the family back together, and she needs to leave town with all of them in coffins while Klaus stays behind on New Orleans with baby Hope. So that was the beginning of a great show that put us into high stakes, and it kind of feel like a go way to move forward, because again, it's the first season that the originals are actually defeated. They couldn't defeat their enemy. So the show was still doing good, and it got renewed for a 4th season. So have under consideration that on season 3 we got our first big moment, like 2 crossover events like the Arrowverse shows did, where both characters jump from a show to another. Now, when they announced the originals a complete 4th season, the Vampire Diaries was ending after season 8. And if I remember correctly, since this season got cut short, it's only 13 episodes long, we got to see the Vampire Diaries until the end, and then we got to start to see the original season 4. A few years had happened, like 5 years, and New Orleans is celebrating that it's been 5 years since the defeat of the Mikaelson. New rules are in place, and Hayley has been trying to get all the things that she needs to put the family back together. So we get to see oh my god, I don't remember the name of the actress. We get to see little girl Hope, amazing actress, Summer Fontana if I'm not mistaken. So on season 4, Hope is now a little girl, and of course Hayley get all the ingredients that she needs to put the family back together. They go ahead into a mission to rescue Klaus, but this season presents the big villain until the rest of the show, called the Hollow, which is impossible to defeat, and that's why I feel, and I'm going to put as well the Vampire, the originals, the complete 5th and final season. I kind of feel like this will have been a whole season of set of episodes but it was divided into 2 seasons at the end, but the story is kind of like 2 seasons merged together. So season 4, we got to see the Hollow, and by the end of the season, they weren't sure if they were going to be coming back for a new season, which had been super sad, but thankfully a deal was made. And director decided to do a season finale that could serve as also a series finale. Basically, by the end of season 4, all the originals have to go separate ways because they have pieces of the Hollow inside of them. And if they go together again, they could be catastrophic consequences. And they only do this because of hope. So, the season 4 finale, it's a beautiful finale. We get Elijah to forget all the memories he had with his family because he knows he will always be wanted to go back to them, and that's super sad because he's a character that has deserved the world, to be honest. But we got a deal, and it was announced, kind of like the Vampire Diaries did, that the original was going to be coming back one last time for one last season with 13 episodes, which was the original, the complete 5th and final season. Now I have to be honest, this release I did pay full price. The day that it came out, I heard to my local Target, they had it on stock, I got it, and as soon as I came home, I went to watch all the special features that the set has. Again, don't worry, I'm going to be reviewing with you guys every single set individually, but the original season 5 was a beautiful, beautiful way to say goodbye to all these characters. Every single original came back, except for Finn, if I'm not mistaken. Finn is gone forever on season 3 of the show. I don't even think he came back on flashback. But Klaus, it's been a while since he see Hope, but now we get our introduction to teenager Hope, played by Daniel Russell, which will carry the future of the franchise for the TVDU on the show Legacies. We get the comeback of Caroline. Alaric is also back from the TVD universe, and we do get an amazing season. All the story closure are amazing, and on episode 13 you will be crying. Last year I had the pleasure to go to New Orleans, and I was able to see the actual place where they filmed the last scene. Guys, at this time I was so into the social media, and I was looking at tweets. I remember when they were recording the scenes, I remember seeing Claire Hood with like comfortable shoes until she needed to record. And for me to be able to now live in the US and be able to go to the actual place where they recorded that scene, that was so emotional for me. They had a placard on a bench basically saying the Vampire Diaries always and forever, or in memory of Klaus and Elijah, something like that. Those are one of the best memories that will always carry around with me. Now, the show has a beautiful finale. One of the complaints that people had was that there was a scene that we know because of social media that was recorded with Klaus and Caroline, and it was deleted from the last episode. So after the episode aired, the deleted scene came out online on YouTube. I think you can still see it on YouTube, and it's kind of like a new interpretation of what happened with Klaus and Cammy on episode number 1. This was a more mature, darker show in a means like a lot of characters will die, but these characters will die forever. Of course, we will have a flashback of them coming back here and then, but it wasn't that into like the Vampire Diaries where they kill off Alaric and then he just came back. These were characters that if they came back, they wouldn't came back as a full-time actor. Claire Hood did an amazing job leaving and coming back on season 5. Season 4 she's more than in season 5. This has beautiful moments, and teenager Hope was amazing, and we got the premise of whatever she was going to become a full tribrid. Now, as I told you on episode 12 this season, they give us the backdoor idea for the Legacies spin-off, and after the show ended on Legacies, it was more deeper into like, they had the Vampire Diaries characters, but not that many. We had way more the original moments through Legacies. We have Freya coming back to town a lot of times, and then we have Claire Hood as Rebekah coming back, and we had on Legacy Season 4 a complete episode where all the original family gets reunited, and that was so emotional and so beautiful to see as a fan of the universe. So if you still miss them, you still have a chance to get to see your whole family. Of course, the characters that had passed away, they're not able to come back on Legacy Season 4. But the original's a super well done spin-off of the Vampire Diaries. It had a super good run. the stories are good to the point, the show is good overall, and it only lasted 5 seasons, so it's a good watch. I will eventually would like to get the Blu-rays, but I will never get rid of my DVDs because this universe is so important to me. And again, I do love that I have a matching sets. The first 2 Blu-rays do have a sleep, and the last 2 do not have a sleep. And also we will be missing 1 season, hopefully in the future, but TV shows on Blu-ray don't sell as well as DVD does, so that's kind of like the main reason why the season 5 never got a Blu-ray release. But anyways, guys, that's kind of like introduction to the original saga that we're going to start in the channel. This is the complete collection video, and then starting on you will see season 1, 2, 3, and so on until season 5. But guys, first of all, I would love to know in the comments which show do you like more from the TVD universe. But that will be all for today's video. Like I always say, I hope you guys are enjoying with this new kind of content in the channel. If you are, please let me know in the comments, leave me a like, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can keep this only growing. And see you guys again soon on a new video.